Hey, real estate investors, if you're curious if Milwaukee is still a top market to invest in 2026, then you need to watch this video. Make sure you stay till the end to learn how you can use a new City of Milwaukee housing rule to supercharge your house hacking strategy. All right, so this is a follow-up video to one of my most popular videos on my channel, Why Invest in Milwaukee. And if you haven't seen that video, I will link it in the show notes as well as in the cards at the end of this video here so you can give it a watch. So it's 2026 now. Is it still true? Is Milwaukee still a top real estate investing market in 2026? Well, according to Zillow and other major media outlets, yes, Milwaukee remains a top 10 real estate investing market out there. As a local professional real estate realtor, loan officer, and investor, I'm going to share with you to go beyond the headlines on what I'm actually seeing out here in the streets of Milwaukee. So let's get right into it. So Milwaukee has long been known as that market where investors shift their investment portfolio to when the deals in their local markets no longer make sense, right? I've been helping investors from California, Minnesota, Illinois, New York come into the Milwaukee market here because, quite frankly, you can make the 1% rule pretty easily, as well as sometimes even achieving 2% returns. All depends on what your strategy is and what your appetite is. Okay, so let's talk numbers. The Milwaukee housing market is still relatively affordable. The median home price is now at $236,000. That is actually up 3% compared to last year. So that means that the housing prices in Milwaukee are trending up. They have been increasing in value. And so if you are looking for a deal, you're probably not going to buy it at $236,000 because that price point, that is more for a move-in ready, pretty decent condition home, right? As an investor, you probably should be looking for a home that actually has value add, that has some return potential. And so that type of home, those deals are still out there, right? But there's not quite a lot of them anymore. And so of course you can imagine that there are a ton of investors out there waiting with their funds ready. And that's important. If you're an investor, you're looking to invest in Milwaukee, you better have your funds ready and be ready to shoot your offer when you see a deal. Most of the time, the investment deals, if it's good and it's a prime location, that home's going to be gone in the first 1 to 3 days, no question. And a lot of investors are really aggressive right now, right? So they may be going close to list price, a little bit over list price, and as well as they're waiving inspection, basically no contingency, cash, and quick close. Those are the type of offers winning deals right now. The ones with financing, traditional financing, good luck. You're not going to get that accepted. If you're using hard money, but you're waiving your finance contingency, you probably still do have a chance. But the biggest thing is right now, a lot of investors don't even care to do an inspection because when they walk through that home, they already know what things need to be repaired. They already have their contractor helping them to walk through that property. So they know if that home has major issues, right? They will have a good idea of what they need to do already, and they're ready. Those investors are the ones that are going to win deals. So let's go back and talk about inventory for a little bit here. We in Milwaukee have about a 2-month supply of inventory. That means if there was no new inventory on the market at all the homes would be gone in 2 months. And the median days on market is currently sitting around 20 days. That is a ridiculously low number of days on market. That means that most listings on the market either have an accepted offer or they are sold already within 20 days. So a lot of investors come to me and they're like, hey, Lor, send me an off-market deal that you might have. And quite honestly, a lot of the off-market deals, they're off-market for a reason. And sometimes those are not good reasons. So things like the seller is ridiculous on their asking price. So they're trying to get a number to make them sell it. Or the property just needs way too much work and people just aren't willing to touch it, right? A lot of the times I tell people, hey, you know what? There's actually pretty good deals on the market if you're ready and if you know what you're looking for, right? Like I mentioned, even though the good deals will be gone within 1 to 3 days, you really have to understand your numbers, understand your buy box criteria, and be willing to look through the trash to find those diamonds in the rough, right? And so what I mean is obviously look at the listings that have been sitting longer, the ones that sit beyond 1 month, 2, 3 months, right? Those sellers, those investors holding those dilapidated homes, they may be more willing now to listen and negotiate and be more realistic on their price. So it never hurts to shoot your shot and definitely send the lowballs on those ones. Do not think that Milwaukee is the type of market to lowball the brand new listings. That's just not going to happen, guys. It's the truth. And if you do try that, well, you're not going to work with me because I don't put in lowball offers for brand new listings. It just doesn't make sense. And if you're not willing to listen, then go hire a different realtor. And that's the truth. I'm just stating the facts here. Whether you like it or not, you have to trust your real estate professional. If it's a brand new listing in a super popular area and the listing agent says, hey, there's multiple offers on this, we need your best and highest, and you come back and you say, hey, we're only going to do 20K under list price. Well, guess what? There's 20 other offers on it. Yours is not going to be one of them. We don't need to waste our time to go through this. All right, so let's move on to talk about rental numbers. And according to Zillow, the Big Z says that the greater Milwaukee area 3-bedroom rents are going for right now around $1,500 per month, and the vacancy rate is around 3.8%. So still relatively low. And all this translates to saying that Milwaukee is still a very hot rental market. And so I have to quite honestly agree with that from what I'm seeing on the ground here. Even on places like Facebook and groups for housing, there are a number of posts for people looking for places to rent still. On the loan officer side, I'm helping a lot of these first-time home buyers to see if they can get pre-approved, even though the affordability, right, the cost of homes in Milwaukee may look affordable to you looking outside in. A lot of the buyers in the greater Milwaukee area, they just don't quite make the income to be able to afford it, right? So their DTI might be too high, their credit isn't quite there, they don't have the savings for that down payment and the closing costs. So the dream of getting that first home, it's still quite far. And quite honestly, even with the way the rates are going, the economy is going, I mean, a lot of people are in wait and see mode, right? They're trying to wait and see where the economy goes. Well, housing prices actually can come down. Is the rates going to come down, right? So there's a lot of hesitation out there right now. So as an investor, I mean, that's a good sign if you have rentals because you're going to fill them. Okay, so let's move on to talking about specific real estate investment strategies. Is Milwaukee market still a good market if you are a flipper, right? And so the short answer is yes. Milwaukee has price points for everything that you might be looking for, from sub 100K purchases, but of course you have to be realistic on the number of profit that you would like to make from that deal. You can't come in and think that you're going to buy something under 100K and make another 100K on top of that. That's probably not going to happen. But we do have the more mid-tier to higher end neighborhoods as well, and those are going to be places in suburbs. And you better believe that there are high dollar flippers out there that are looking for those deals too, right? So you're going to be a competition no matter which bracket you're shopping in. But the most important thing is that you need to understand, you need to know exactly what kind of deal, what your budget is, and what you want. And of course, reach out to somebody like me and I can help you look for those deals, as well as connect you to hard money lenders if you need it. Not only that, as a LO that is a mortgage broker, I can help you to have a backup strategy to get out of that hard money if you need to, right? If you can't sell that property, we could probably do a DSCR refi, convert that to a long-term rental or a short-term rental even, and help you to get out of that hard money loan. Speaking of long-term rentals, what's the outlook on buy and hold investment properties in Milwaukee? Well, as I mentioned earlier in the video, Milwaukee is still a very strong rental market, right? So still fantastic for buy and hold investors. If you are seeking 1% return type properties, we have those. Even 2% return type properties, we have those too, seriously. But the thing is, you have to be comfortable in investing in those areas where those numbers are going to be achievable. So something that you have to understand as an investor is exactly what you want. What's your deal criteria? What is a deal for you, right? And the second part of this is that you have to understand what is actually achievable. So if you're looking for 1% return property and you're expecting tons of appreciation after 5-10 years, no, sorry. It's probably not going to happen. If you want higher appreciation, then the cash flow is just going to be less. That's just the nature of the game. So you have to work with a local real estate professional that understands the market, understands which neighborhoods that you can find that, and they can help direct you. Along with that, if you are not at all familiar with Milwaukee, it's one of those types of cities where good areas and bad areas can literally be block by block, meaning that even in bad zip codes, you can have great neighborhoods if you know which blocks they are. Even in the good zip codes, there are terrible blocks that if you end up buying in, you're going to be in for a long day. So don't simply just take what you read out there that, hey, this zip code is awesome, and you end up buying there and all of a sudden you're like, this is nothing like what they told me. It happens. I've seen it before, right? I've had to help investors get out of bad deals and help offload those properties for them. Okay, let's move on to talk about BRRRR. And I'm not talking about how cold it can get in Milwaukee. I am talking about the buy, rehab, rent, and refi, as well as repeat strategy, right? The holy grail that a lot of people have built their investment game on. Is that still possible in Milwaukee? The short answer is, of course, yes, you can still do that. There are still deals out there to do that. However, the returns are not quite as strong anymore, right? When you do that refi, most of the time you'll probably just break even. So some investors out there, they are happy to just break even, get their initial capital that they put into the deal back out, and then it's still an infinite return for them because all their money is out. Now they're just playing with the house money. So if you don't understand anything I'm talking about this strategy, reach out to me so you can learn exactly what this is. All right, this brings us to our last point here. The latest changes in the city of Milwaukee housing rules. If you can utilize this rule, it can supercharge your house hacking strategy. And if you're not familiar with house hacking, that is the investment strategy where you either buy a single family, rent out the rooms in the house, or you buy a multifamily home and you rent out the other units to have your tenants help you to cover your mortgage. And so this new change in the city of Milwaukee housing rules is that they are now allowing people who live in their primary residence in the city of Milwaukee, if their lot has the room to build an accessory dwelling unit, they're allowing that now. So an accessory dwelling unit, also known as a ADU, can be an attached dwelling to the main house or a detached dwelling. So what that allows you to do is now you can potentially build a mini home in the back of your lot if your lot's big enough. And so you could rent it out either long-term, short-term, or even mid-term. So now you have a whole lot of options available to you. And if it makes more sense to you where you want to rent out your main house and you go live in the ADU and the numbers work better that way, go do it. More power to you. The biggest, most important thing is that this rule is only allowed on properties that you actually live in. So it has to be your primary residence, right? But of course, while you're living there, that is your primary residence. So you go ahead, build that ADU, and then a year later, you can move out. After that, you've already built that ADU. It's already there. So now you have value add to your property and you have additional streams of income. So now when you go buy that next property, right, and you could potentially do it again. So you can buy another single family in the city of Milwaukee and do it again, right? So how cool is that? Let me know in the comments if this is something that might intrigue you to do it, right? Are you interested in that? And definitely go look it up in the city. I know actually there are a number of suburbs around Milwaukee that are also allowing this too. I believe Wauwatosa is allowing it as well. So definitely check that out, guys. Be aware of these new changes coming out. All right, so now you have the answer for yourself to decide if Milwaukee is still a good real estate investment market for you in 2026. If there's something I didn't cover and a question that you want to go over with me one-on-one, feel free to book a call with me. My link is in the video description, or shoot me a text and we can schedule a time for us to talk. And if you haven't been here before, you don't know anything about me, my name is lor.vang. I am a longtime real estate investor, grew up in Milwaukee for a long time. I know the city well, and I'm also not just a realtor with EXP, but also a licensed loan mortgage broker with NEXA Lending here. And so I am a one-stop shop that is investor savvy that can help you to get started on building your wealth, building your portfolio in the Milwaukee area market. I've personally helped a number of investors to get started, whether they live in the city, out of town, or out of state, or even out of the country. I have investors that, have never stepped foot in the US, but they are investing here already. And so if you need that help, don't hesitate to reach out. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you could do me a huge favor, if you got value from this video, help me out with that algorithm, please. I'd be in your debt. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, share this video with somebody who you think needs to watch it, and I will see you in the next video. Happy investing.